I have sat on both sides of this desk, first as an employee, then as the person making the decisions. But one question always stayed with me. What do employees really want? Today, we are going to find out together.
Companies today pay the highest salaries in history. They offer free lunches, game rooms, work from home, and people are quitting faster than ever before. So if it isn't the money, what do employees actually want? Today, science gives us 5 answers, and number 5 is the one almost nobody sees coming.
Problem number 1, the thank you that never comes. Most bosses think like this: I pay them, that is the thank you. Why would I praise someone for doing their job?
It sounds logical, but here's what the research found. Gallup and the HR company WorkHuman followed more than 3,400 employees for 2 full years, from 2022 to 2024. Employees who got real, high-quality recognition were 45% less likely to quit. 45% from being noticed. And here's the painful part. More than half of all workers say they get little or no real recognition at all.
So when the boss and the employee finally sit across from each other, the fix is almost embarrassingly cheap. Say what you saw out loud. I know you stayed late on that. It mattered. That one sentence keeps people in the building longer than a pizza party ever will.
Problem number 2, the boss who's always watching. Most bosses call it being careful. I check everything before it goes out. That's just good management. But the brain doesn't hear careful, it hears I don't trust you. The neuroscientist Paul Zak spent over 10 years measuring what trust does inside the human brain, and he published the results in the Harvard Business Review. People at high-trust companies, compared to low-trust ones, reported 50% higher productivity, 74% less stress, and 40% less burnout. Those aren't small numbers. That's the difference between a team that runs and a team that limps. So the fix at the meeting table sounds like this. You've earned this call. Own it. I've got your back. Hand people the keys. Almost everyone grows into them.
Problem number 3, hired to think, managed like a machine. The typical boss logic goes, I like everyone at their desk, 9 to 5, where I can see the work happening.
But psychology has been pushing back on that for 50 years. Edward Deci and Richard Ryan, the psychologists behind self-determination theory, showed that autonomy, control over how you work, isn't a perk. It's one of the 3 core needs that drive human motivation, right next to feeling capable and feeling connected. Kill the autonomy and motivation dies with it. And people put real money on this. In a Citigroup and LinkedIn survey, nearly half of employees said they would give up a 20% raise for more control over how they work. Think about that. Half the room would take a pay cut for freedom. So at the meeting table, the winning sentence is simple. I care about the result, not the chair. Show me it works and it's yours.
Problem number 4, the hollow paycheck. Plenty of bosses believe the deal is simple. It's called a job, you do the tasks, you get paid. That's the meaning. Then, a research team at BetterUp, led by Sean Achor, the Harvard-trained author of The Happiness Advantage, surveyed 2,285 workers across 26 industries and published the results in the Harvard Business Review. What they found is honestly hard to believe. 9 out of 10 people said they would trade real money for work that means something. How much money? On average, 23% of their entire future lifetime earnings, nearly a quarter of everything they'll ever make for a reason to care. And people who find their work meaningful stay about 7.4 months longer. So at the table, the boss's job isn't a pep talk, it's a connection. Let me show you who this actually helps. Show people where their piece fits and the work stops being hollow. And now, problem number 5, the biggest one of all. When a good employee resigns, almost every boss thinks the same thing. Someone offered them more money. But when McKinsey, one of the largest research and consulting firms in the world, surveyed more than 13,000 workers across 6 countries about why they really quit, money wasn't number 1. The number 1 reason, ranked above pay, was this: no career growth, no path forward, no future. And Gallup adds the final twist. Roughly 75% of the reasons people leave are things a manager could have changed.
Keeping your best person right where they're good feels like a compliment.
To them, it's a locked door because people don't just want a job, they want a next. So the last meeting sounds like this. Where do you want to be in 2 years? Let's build the path. That one conversation beats almost any raise.
So there it is, 5 answers, and none of them were money. People want to be seen, trusted, and free. They want their work to matter, and they want a path forward. And the surprising part? Most of that costs nothing. People don't quit jobs. They quit feeling invisible, controlled, and stuck. Next time, we ask the other side, what do bosses want? Subscribe and tell us which one matters most to you.